was April of the following year. So like 5 or 6 months. My point is, she passed away. I went like 8 months without seeing my sister. And granted, she wasn't in the best state of mind, but she was 5 miles from my house. Like, and I remember driving by, bringing my kids to their moms. And I remember one of my kids said, "Hey, do you think we should go see Aunt Holly?" And I don't remember what my answer was. I remember my kid asking me that. And I'm just like, I'd look back, I'm like, fuck, what I would do to go back and like, just give her one more hug, which, like just looking at I have stairs right behind this wall right behind us. And I just remember that was the last time I hugged my sister was on, I believe it was Thanksgiving or Christmas. I think Thanksgiving on those stairs right there, and I could have got another hug and
you always need that one more though, no matter what. Even if you got that other hug, you'd say just one more.
Yeah.
You are my paradise, I can't deny. You make me high. You are my paradise, I can't deny. You make me high. You are my paradise.
Hey guys, I just want to make sure if you do like our content, you are watching this and you're taking the time to watch it, please take that couple seconds extra to just like, subscribe.
Yeah.
And probably
it keeps it going.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like more so than anything, I'll speak for myself, not for my wife. Please give us feedback. That keeps us going. That keeps me going.
Definitely.
The more positive shit I hear.
We need to know how you feel or what you think or if you have questions, anything like that. Anything.
Constructive criticism, anything.
Yeah.
I don't care. Anyway, thank you again. And here's the podcast.
Thanks, guys. Everyone, this is episode 9, I think. Right, babe?
Yes, we did do episode 9. We recorded it anyway, a different one that was going to be episode 9, but kind of just...
We didn't feel it.
Yeah.
So we just, I think, used bits and pieces of it for other little shorts and stuff. Yeah. And
so
we want good quality.
Yeah. This episode, we're going to talk about a couple of different things. Some people had some questions for us. I thought kind of on the fly, I just thought this actually. I was going to talk about this pup right here. I was
thinking that too before we started, I swear.
Liar.
I swear.
She always tries to take all my ideas. No, but seriously, this dog got really, really sick. She's only 3 years old. She got really sick to the extent we noticed she wasn't eating as much over the past month or so. And,
not as active.
Yeah.
Like we had to kind of push her. Hey, let's go outside. Let's run around and play. And she kind of just didn't really want to.
Yeah. But, all of a sudden at the beginning of the week, last week, I got a phone call from, I believe,
Mel. My daughter texted me
and
said that she, Samus wouldn't even like get up out of her cage.
Yeah.
She wouldn't move.
Of course, I always I'm like, they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
So when I got home from work, I got in her cage, lifted her up and actually brought her outside. But she was really bad and it was really, really scary. So this guy being, he's pretty cheap. We all kind of know that. So it means a lot. He was like, we got to do something. Let's make it an appointment for that.
I had this gut feeling when I looked at her and I saw the pain in the dog's face and you could see it. Like, I mean, her whole rear end was just like her hips, her legs, and everything about her. Yeah. So
very lethargic.
Long story short, we took her to the vet, got antibiotics. She ended up having I guess there's 3 different kinds of tick-borne illnesses. She had all 3 of them. I
didn't even honestly know that there was like 3 different kinds.
Yeah, neither did I. But.
So I learned something new. But highly recommend if you have dogs and cats, be preventative with them and get, tick and flea medicine, collars or something. It's a big deal, really.
Yeah, ticks are getting really bad. I don't know if it's because, not to go on the whole global warming thing, but we get a lot less snow here in New York than we ever have. It's crazy. And, I'm 36. I went like 20 something years and I grew up in the woods and doing stuff outside.
Same.
I never saw a tick my entire life until I was in my early 20s. And a few weeks ago, we took the dogs out into the woods. They had freaking 9 ticks between the 2 of them at once. So give them a bath, get them off. But anyway, My kind of point of talking about this was, it was another quick reminder of how quickly everything can change, because never in a million years would I have thought this dog that, we naturally take for granted every single day would get sick like that. And it got to the point when we were on the way to the vet, we were talking, I'm like, listen, like, she's not doing good. We need to, consider making a tough decision, because
with reality.
Yeah, she was in a lot of pain. I'm like, I don't know what the
Yeah.
vet's going to say. They didn't know, it could have been kidney failure. It could have been a lot of things. And she could still have some sort of underlying issue other than what they diagnosed, but they wanted to start with this, see how she is. And she's gotten infinitely better. She still needs to put on some weight, but yeah, we've been feeding her a little bit of a special food, and she's eating better than I am now.
She's doing better. Yeah, she is, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're very thankful. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So thankful. She's our baby. Yeah. I love her.
We asked recently on our podcast group if there's anything people wanted us to talk about, and one of the subjects people somebody mentioned was the whole blended family thing, because we have 5 kids between the two of us, and of course we've never ever in 8 years we've never had an issue parenting between the co-parenting. I'm just kidding. Like
I was like
yeah, it's one of those things where there's probably no right answer to just about any of this, but I'm going to talk about, or we are going to talk about what worked for us.
Yeah, we can tell you in the beginning kind of what, little issues were and how we kind of compromised and worked together to make it as normal throughout all of the kids, to make things easier and fair, and just to make it consistent and in a good positive, I don't know, parenting style, I guess. Because I know it is really hard. A lot of people are very, very different, and that's cool. When you mix families together, things can be so black and white and so opposite that it's so like clashing all the time. Yeah. And that's hard. Yeah.
But like the first things I think of, and probably the main things I think of, is just, when it comes to parenting, just like being consistent and helping each other be there. And that's the thing. Like it's easy for us to say, like, we always see pretty eye to eye on most subjects, almost everything. Yeah. But on those things that we don't see eye to eye about, she's just wrong and I'm right. But no, seriously though, we really do see a lot of things eye to eye, and it does help.
But even if we don't agree on everything, it's like we're pretty good usually at like compromising and trying to figure out like something in the middle.
Yeah. I don't think anybody can do that. It's just a lot of people choose.
But they can do that, yes, but a lot of people are so stubborn and don't want to do that.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, so like we can start from kind of like the beginning.
Yeah, that was interesting, because all the kids were obviously 8 years younger, which is crazy. But,
insane to think about. Yeah. They're so young and tiny and cute.
Yeah.
But
that was back when we were living in our parents' basement. I was in my parents' basement. She was in her parents' basement. I know we covered that in I think our first episode when we first met and stuff. We were both losers, and still are, but
we're our own losers. Yeah. It's fine.
But yeah, we just got to be careful, because I don't want to be too specific on like the issues that we face, because I don't want to embarrass the kids or anything like that.
But we can just say in general, well, for me personally, maybe I tried to be really good at being very consistent, and it was very hard to be consistent.
Yes.
In my situation. So when I met him, he like helped me be super freaking consistent.
I know one thing we got to talk about right off the bat when it comes to this was diet, and for the kids, because because I was always brought up in a household where, my parents weren't, they weren't poor, but they weren't rich, they kind of, they worked, and they're functional adults. But I ate my food growing up, and a lot of kids nowadays, and I'm not talking about my kids or our kids, but a lot of kids nowadays, I see a lot of parents where they'll allow their kids to dictate what they eat. And, I guess if that works for you, but man, I think kids have a lot of choice, and sometimes kids need to be told what to do if they're making bad decisions. If your kid's eating nothing but crap food on a regular basis, like what is your job as a parent? What is our job as a parent? To guide them and help them.
Yes. I feel like a lot of nowadays, sometimes it's hard for parents to feel okay to parent.
Yeah.
Be the adult, be the one that's like, you're my child, I'm the parent. I want you to eat a good dinner, eat your dinner. This is what I bought with my hard earned money.
Yeah,
You
within
know?
reason, you're not going
Of
to eat
course.
ridiculous stuff. But man, if like you have something
Yeah.
that's reasonable, like, okay, hey, listen, you eat
Yeah.
that, it's not going to hurt you. You just sit at
Right.
the table until you eat it. And I don't know, I grew up and I'm not picky. I eat everything. And I think that's a lot of that is just the parenting
Yes.
style.
I grew up having to eat my dinner, what
Yeah.
was made. And I wasn't
Mhm.
really picky though. So maybe
Yeah.
that was like easier for me though, but I wasn't like super picky.
Yeah.
And I think as you grow, obviously, you get
It
better at eating different
Yes.
stuff, more stuff.
And
or
with the
whatnot, but-
kids though, it took years of being consistent to really get them to like finally, everybody
broaden
to
their taste buds and
eat-
being okay with trying new things and not being
Yeah.
scared about it.
And now they choose to eat the healthy vegetables and stuff that they wouldn't touch in a million years and stuff.
But I think they're happy that we
Yeah.
were like, hey, we need to do better.
Well, I think a lot of times kids crave that discipline. They crave the structure, and people just
they do.
Here's an iPad, here's a tablet, go play a video game for 17 hours and
or while you're eating.
Yeah.
But whatever, that's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
The technology. But anyway, yeah. So with our co-parenting with the food, we kind of just started making it like, hey, listen, all of you kids, this is what we're making for dinner. This is dinner.
Yeah. And if you don't eat dinner, guess what? If there's snacks or we're eating ice cream or there's something after dinner,
you can eat your dinner that you left in the fridge or that's still at the table.
Yeah. And a lot of parents, I think, would threaten that, but a lot of parents just don't follow through with these threats.
Following through is hard too.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and we still to this day have to work on that, support each other in that, because sometimes I'm shitty at it, sometimes he's shitty at it, and we have to be a team and be like, hey, you said this, we gotta keep our word, because kids know the consequences of things, good and bad. So if they know they do something, if you don't follow through as a parent, the kids aren't going to give a shit. They're going to do what they want to do. There are no consequences. So if there are consequences, they know if I do this, dude, I'm going to get in trouble. That's the good thing about being consistent and showing them what the consequences are. That's like, it's not like they didn't know what was going to happen. It was like their choice. So,
and I'm pretty confident that if you give a kid food and they don't like it, and that's what's for dinner, and people get hungry, they're gonna eat.
They're not gonna starve themselves. And it's not like you gotta give them a crap load. Give them serving. I don't know.
You're fine.
Yeah, but so parents that are having a hard time with having their kids eat, just you got to be patient with yourself and your kid. If it's something new that you're trying to work on, just be patient.
And I think
it takes a lot of time.
The biggest thing I would say though would be don't undermine your significant other. Like you guys got to do it as a team. You can't have one parent partially putting in effort to try to correct some sort of action of the children, even if it's not food. Like that's another thing. Like with us, and
So normally, if there's any sort of disagreement, try to do it like behind closed doors. Talk about it amongst adults. The kids don't have to, they shouldn't worry about or be confused about parents, kind of talking and trying to figure shit out in front of them, because that's confusing.
Yes.
I think it is for them.
Yeah. Like my style of parenting, being a blended family, I was brought up differently than her. And, I have very different views when it comes to, certain things. And, we've allowed it to, just kind of work. And I think if you just try to stay positive, because I feel like I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Stay positive and just work together as a team, be all right. And, I think one of the most important parts though, of raising kids though, is kids see you with your significant other. So if you guys are getting along, you're nice to each other and respectful to each other and you love each other, I think the kids really learn more from that than anybody has any idea.
Yes. The love, the respect is everything.
Yes.
That's like, it's the opposite when kids see their parents fighting and bickering and whatever, it like that hurts them. Of course, they want to see their parents loving each other. So, when you're showing affection, I guarantee they're seeing it. The kids see everything. They soak everything in, and it makes their heart happy when you're hugging and, I love you and stuff. It's just so important. They love it.
You get the blended family, a lot of times there's going to be other households that, the kids, like some kids might go to the other parents or and stuff like that. I think it's just so important. And I think the word co-parenting doesn't have to apply to broken families or families where people have kids in different homes and whatnot. I think the co-parenting should be, it should be across the board. Like I think parents, even if you're, if we didn't have a blended family and our kids were just ours.
I was just gonna
It's
say.
still co-parenting.
I was
You're
just gonna
working
say
together
that. Yeah.
for the end result to be the kids
Yeah.
turning out as best as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
yeah,
I'm glad you said that, because I was like thinking just now, like the whether your kids and family are blended or not.
Yeah, it's not really relevant.
You're still two different people trying to co-parent your child or children.
Yep.
So that's kind of a cool thought, because I think people are like, oh, co-parenting means like, you know, divorced, whatever, you know, this family, this family, this family.
Yeah.
It can be your one family that's like still together. That's an interesting thought, because I've not really thought about that actually before, I don't think. It's pretty cool. So over the food thing, like the chores and stuff, I think that definitely, I think responsibility for kids, depending on ages and responsibility.
Yeah.
Maturity.
I wish I had chores when I was a kid. I never did. You know, I put away the silverware out of the dishwasher. You know, that was my chore. And
that took you all but 2 minutes to do.
I was just so damn lazy as a kid, and but man, I played a lot of video games.
Yeah. I had chores.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's so good for the kids.
It is. And the thing is too, it's like I am very I don't mind doing little things here and there for everybody in the house, which I do, and I'm like, whew, after
you do too much.
Well, I try to make the kids understand that it's like, hey, can you go do this? You know, pick up this mess or that mess when it's their mess. I try to instill in them, like, the parents don't have to pick up your mess. If you made the mess, that's your stuff we're asking you to pick up.
Yep.
And still to this day, every now and then I have to remind, you know, our kids that, hey, I'm not asking you to go above and beyond to do all of the stuff in the house. Like, that's your mess. Why do I have to pick it up?
Yeah.
You know, you're plenty old enough to rinse out your dishes and put in the dishwasher.
Just common sense.
Yeah. But they need to be taught that.
What other type of blended family conversations? How about, this is actually a really good one, because if you have a blended family, or if you have any family, kids, adults, but we're talking about kids primarily right now, kids fight, kids bicker, kids argue. And then, man, one of the hardest things I think I've had to deal with we've had to deal with is, you know, you get kids that fight, and then those kids then go to the other household where they reside, you know, whatever amount of time. And it's like, you know, of course, when those kids go there, they're going to talk about how, you know, this is unfair. And like, I think it's really important to teach your kids to just, I don't know. You know, I guess at certain ages, you're not going to be able to avoid that kind of stuff. But when they get to a certain age, the kids need to know, like, everything's not going to be perfect everywhere. And just because things aren't perfect right now, it doesn't mean that things are always broken or always
right. But
issue.
Also, parents in one house versus the other house, and the kids going back and forth. My parents were divorced since I was little, so I went through all of this. But there are different rules in different houses, and that's okay. You know, as long as they're healthy and everything's good, that's fine. That's great. And it is hard for the kids, because it's like, one house you can do this, can't do this. Other house is the opposite.
Yeah.
Which is, it's hard on kids. So it's like, we have to be patient with them. And, it's like, we don't try to ask too much of them. Just be kind to one another, pick up your messes and stuff. Definitely for the ages though, it's like, different chores.
I kind of back to the fighting thing. Not to bring you off that, but like, I've always tried to really instill, like, when there's issues with our kids and they're fighting and bickering, like, sit down and talk about it. Because nowadays, and this doesn't apply to my children, this applies to the entire world, I feel like people are so quick to want to not talk about issues. They'll fight over text messages, which is a horrible mistake. And I tell the kids, listen, if you ever have a serious conversation, do not allow it to be through text message. You're missing out on so much context and so much valuable expressions. I mean, in person, I think.
I was just gonna say,
the facial expressions,
number one.
Oh yeah.
If you can't communicate, you know, face to face, a phone call is always best.
Well, yeah, but people just seem to really, kids included, they like to hide behind that cell phone, and it's not a healthy thing. Yeah. So we generally try to sit the kids down. We have family talks when there's issues between the kids, and of course, the kids hate it, but what they don't realize, most of these family talks are after I just work for 9 hours plus or whatever and get home from work and do dinner and try and do all this shit. And like, all right, now we have to have family talk because there's bullshit going on.
And it usually lasts like
and
forever. But it's important.
It's frustrating.
Get back on track.
Yeah. It's incredibly frustrating sometimes, and it doesn't always work out to the best. But I think 9 times out of 10, it's beneficial in at least a little.
I think everyone, after being in a conversation like that, 99% of the time walks away happy and relieved and feeling better.
Yep. And it teaches the kids to just resolve issues,
communicate,
communicate and just, respect other people's opinions and like things just people don't seem to do anymore. People don't respect other people's opinions. Like I'm right, you're wrong. That's it. Like, I don't know. Which I think there's a lot more people out there that are there's a lot more better people out there that are understanding, loving, caring, good people than we're led on to believe. I truly believe that. I think there's a lot of good people out there.
I do too.
I think the algorithm or I think social media or media in general, they like to push the idea there's so much negativity. But anyway.
Right. They want people to feel helpless.
Yeah.
And stuff. But I also do want to say that when you have like family meetings, it doesn't always have to be something negative. Like there's a problem, let's try to fix it. It could be like, hey, how's everyone doing this week? Is there anything on your mind? Do you need help with anything? It can be a positive family talk too. It doesn't have to be because like, a talk had because of an issue.
Yeah.
So it could be a good talk too, not about something bad.
Yeah. Any other co-parenting stuff that we can think of? I'm sure we could talk about this for an entire episode, but I kind of want to swindle to the next I see her notes over there, so we wrote down a couple different topics, and this one's kind of big. Actually, this is absolutely huge. It kind of stems from what we're just talking about,
so it kind of swishes in pretty good.
So how about in general? This applies to everybody. Everybody I know, really. There's so many people out there that when it comes to family, we all hear that expression or that saying, "Family's everything," and I believe that. I was brought up in a family that is pretty freaking close. I think I've always felt like my family is very close, and in comparison to a lot of other families that I've seen interact with one another. And people need to somehow, no matter what, you gotta like almost like honor that. Like always think, no matter what, unless there's certain circumstances with like, hey, that's unforgivable. It sucks, but that's life.
Things,
but
yeah.
Like, especially because I've always said like money's the root of all evil, for example. Like people need to figure out ways to just get along and love each other. I mean, we're all going to be in the ground before we know it. Like so, life is so fucking
we came into this world with nothing. We're going to leave with nothing. So materialistic shit and money should be the last thing that people are going to be fighting over.
Yeah. But so many people do that, and not even just over that though, many things, whether it's social media or politics or whatever, people
being controlling or being right or opinions and everything.
But the whole thing to me is, which has always been so frustrating, is so many people like to just leave that elephant in the corner of the room and like they don't want to talk about it. And I'm a horrible person, I guess, because I like to talk about an issue until it's either semi-resolved or at least mutual understanding, like even if you don't get along with or agree, like, all right, we're just not going to talk politics anymore, whatever. But whatever the agreement is, it's better than just leaving it there, or people that just don't see their family, like, or their kids, or they get in a fight. Like I know so many people that have brothers and sisters or moms and dads that they don't talk to anymore because of some bullshit that happened years ago where like we've had multiple times, and we have had people that we've talked, like we've had, because I'm not freaking perfect. I've pissed off people in my lifetime. God, I pissed off a lot of people. Sometimes I just, I would have a dark sense of humor and find stuff entertaining and not care at a certain point in my life of what people thought,
We've all made mistakes.
The military didn't help with that dark sense of humor, but
we have to admit our mistakes. We're not perfect, and people need to be understanding that people can fuck up and it's okay as long as they're actually sorry.
Yeah.
And try to fix the problem.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, even if they, do something wrong to someone, and even if they know that they did it, they don't want to admit it. And that's like the main problem, I think. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Like speaking your mind to each other, and but somehow finding a way to try to maintain being respectful to one another. Like which
is possible. I know some might be hard for some people, but you can have a conversation without yelling and putting people down and being negative.
Come here, Carol.
I think she wants to come up here.
Oh,
Come here. Come here. Hello.
but yeah, I think the amount of people that will and do just let stuff sit, and they're like, if they reach out to me, I'll talk to them, but that's on them. And be that person that reaches out. Like,
be that person.
Yeah, like
yeah. And honestly, in my life, that's happened a lot. And being with this guy here, he's helped me tremendously being that person.
Yeah, well, because if we weren't talking, like, we've had some very important people in our life that we love dearly, that are good people that we haven't talked to in a while and had issues or whatever. And I said to her one day, I'm like, listen, like, we're not talking right now. We haven't talked in years. You love them. You miss them. Why not reach out to them?
Like, what are we going to lose if we...
Okay, yeah, what if they answer the phone and they say fuck off and we hang up, and okay, guess what? We're back to where we were anyway. Right. At least we tried.
Yeah.
And I have found, I feel like almost, I think just about anytime I've ever tried to reach out to somebody, within reason, it's fixed the situation.
Yes, right. Yep.
I don't know. But,
and that's happened with me pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's weird because a lot of the times the people that their relationship is like hurt and you don't talk, those are like the most important people in your life.
Well, yeah, because you don't know, like, I'll speak from experience, not to bring up really negative, heartfelt shit, but, everybody knows for the most part, at least people that know me, my sister passed away in 2020 from an opioid, say overdose. I guess it technically wasn't an overdose, but it was long time. She ended up dying from the opioids. She just had, I believe, liver failure or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see her for probably 3 or 4 months prior to that. Even I think it was maybe even longer. So it was April of the following year. So like 5 or 6 months. My point is, she passed away. I went like 8 months without seeing my sister, and granted, she wasn't in the best state of mind, but she was 5 miles from my house. Like, and I remember driving by, bringing my kids to their moms, and I remember one of my kids said, "Hey, do you think we should go see Aunt Holly?" And I don't remember what my answer was. I remember my kid asking me that, and I'm just like, I'd look back, I'm like, fuck, what I would do to go back and like just give her one more hug, which, like, just looking at I have stairs right behind this wall right behind us, and I just remember that was the last time I hugged my sister was on, I believe it was Thanksgiving or Christmas. I think Thanksgiving. On those stairs right there, and I could have got another hug, and
you always need that one more, though, no matter what. Even if you got that other hug, you'd say just one more.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. But hindsight's 2020. But yeah, it would be so cool to hear that somebody like listened to this episode and they're like, I reached out to this person and
fixed our relationship.
Oh my God, I'd pay money for that. Like,
but it's not like all of a sudden you have a talk and everything's 100% hunky dory and everything's great. It's maybe we'll take time to get back to where it was. Yeah. But at least that's a beginning.
Yeah.
It's a start. It has to start somewhere.
It absolutely does. But,
yeah. So please, like, if anyone isn't talking to someone, or if someone's mad at you, or even if you didn't do anything, someone's mad at you, call them, text them, and say, "Hey, can we talk?"
Or even if you just text out, reach out, but hey, I just want to let you know I'm thinking of you. I love you. Like,
yes.
Can you not make yourself vulnerable enough to tell somebody you love them? Like, are you that proud?
Yeah.
And
Life
I've
is
been
so
there.
Short.
For the record, I have been that person where I, pissed off someone, but generally I'm a big freaking. I'm a very forgiving person.
You're such a better person than I am, though. Like, you're so much better at all that stuff.
I'm quicker to forgive than you. I wouldn't say I'm a better person than you by any means. No, absolutely not. But anyway, I guess there's that. One of the other topics I think somebody else asked us to talk about was jobs and drama, and drama at the workplace.
Yes, and I just want to say, first of all, no matter where you work, there's going to be something or someone that you might not get along with.
And if not, you're fortunate.
Yeah, very fortunate, but I don't think people need to have expectations when they start a job, when they first meet people, that everyone's like going to be perfect in everything, which, give people chances, but you just, even, it's okay. Not everyone is for everyone, but you need to be nice and kind to everyone, tolerate them, whatever you want to do. Don't put yourself out there and make a fool of yourself because you don't like someone and start shit for no reason, I guess.
Speaking of jobs, I don't know, this is my brain. This is how my brain always works. I think of random tangent thoughts. But you know, positivity in a workplace. I've always been incredibly positive. Not I mean, there's days I have bad days, but even on my bad days, I'm not mean to somebody for no reason.
Right.
I know so many people, they have a bad day, they are a miserable, rude individual to you. And I've always been, I think it, I sound arrogant when I talk positive about myself, I feel like, but
it's okay.
You know, on all my like performance evaluation, my job reviews, you know, I've always been a good team player. I've always enjoyed working with my coworkers.
Yes.
And I enjoy bringing a positive mindset to the workplace when, especially, you know, because 9 times out of 10, I have somebody that's miserable that works with me, and she could probably name them off quicker than I could because she hears about it. You know, 'cause I don't like come home on a regular basis, bitch and complain. about work.
No,
but,
it's not like that.
You know, there's some people that just like, man, like just get out of that negativity. But
yeah,
I was gonna say something specific to that, but I kind of
about people being negative at work.
Oh man, I lost it.
I don't know. So it's really funny because even now, like my whole life, I've been pretty, you know, upbeat and positive and like bubbly and stuff. And at my old job, people would pick on me all the time and be like, "Oh, Monica, I miss positivity," and it's like,
yeah.
And you know, I laugh at it, and I am thankful that that's how they see me, because then hopefully it would rub off and make them happy.
Yeah, is there what better quality can you be known for? Like, oh, you're a happy, nice person. Like,
you're so positive all the time. How are you so positive all the time? It's like, yeah.
And then on the flip side of it, though, there's been a lot of people. I felt like I've annoyed the living shit out of. You know, probably for more reasons than just this, but a lot of people seem annoyed if you're happy all the time. People are just like, they're just like, they hate it.
Like, how do you do it? Why are you so happy? Why do they get to be happy and not me and stuff? But it's like, you gotta always think, if it rains, it pours, you know, type of thing. But then sometimes if it rains, there's a rainbow, you know? And it's like, you have to kind of train your mind to think like that. It doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
You know, definitely have to put forth effort in thinking positive and being happy too. But
I know what I want to say.
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead. No, you're fine.
So speaking of workplaces, attitudes, and drama, this is nothing to do with drama, but workplace and attitude. I've realized, you know, when you have somebody that works at a dead-end job, and what I mean by dead-end job, I'm not saying like a dead-end job like people that work there, there's something bad about them. I've worked a lot of dead-end jobs or entry-level jobs, or, you know, cashiers, you know, at a grocery store, whatever. You know, everyone's I think playing an important role in this world, and like,
you gotta start somewhere.
But those people that work those jobs, if you take pride in that and you stay positive, even if you're miserable, but if you take pride in that, or at least try to do the best you can at that job that you may hate, and be nice to people and be nice to customers, and it's a powerful thing. And I just wish I knew how powerful that was. You know, because we were somewhere. Actually, I think it was at a Subway. I can say that. We were at a Subway, and this person that was making my sandwich, like, most positive person. He was so, like, he didn't act like he worked at Subway. He was just like, he's being so nice to me, so respectful, and like, you know, his in between jobs wasn't the best financial situation at this point in time. But this guy made me a sandwich, and I'm just like, hey, are you guys allowed to take tips? And he's like, oh, kind of look confused, like, yeah. And I ended up tipping this guy. I think I tipped him like $20. My sub was like 13. And he looked at me like, I was out of my mind.
You crazy.
But he's so appreciative, like so appreciative. And I don't do that for like everybody. I would be broke as shit. But my point is, like,
you could have just clicked something for him, like something.
Well, I said to him, because I said, I'm like, listen, if someone, because he's probably in his low 20s. I'm like, dude, if someone said to me at your age, like, hey, like, stay positive, someday that's going to benefit you. Like, if somebody said that to me, like, and like, people said similar nice things, but not that specifically when I worked in the bingo hall. But if somebody ever said it to me, like, it would have changed the course of my life at least a little, you know, in a positive direction. And it was funny because the guy, like, he went to hand me he like
forgot to give you your food.
He forgot to give me my food. He's like, he shook my hand, and like, he was such a nice kid. But
it's such a small little gesture that probably changed him at least a little bit, you know, that they're like, I know people can be rude, so rude, like customer wise at people that are working at places like that, because they think they're, I don't know, better than them, or they're frustrated or whatever. But you doing that for him just probably
dude, like
What do you say?
it's kind of, it's got me thinking of the word tips, as I worked for tips for a long time. Like, man, if
Mm-hmm.
you have a decent person that's respectful, just you should be generous. I
Mm-hmm.
believe, I'm a firm believer, what goes around comes around. I've
Yep.
always tipped,
Definitely.
sometimes crazy, like she looks at me like I'm out of my mind, but man, I just remember what it was like working for tips, and I remember
Yeah.
that one person to treat me just incredibly well, and just from me being
honestly-
nice to them, and I never forgot those people.
It's the most fun when we do that kind of stuff to people who totally don't even expect it or see it coming because it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And that the shock
Yeah.
and
it's
the
cool.
happiness is just like
You don't.
everything.
It doesn't. If you don't have to do things financially for people, by the way, I
No.
think it's really beneficial to. You can do something nice.
Mm-hmm. Giving people rides if they have an emergency, or
Yeah.
just being there for someone. Talking to someone through text if it's like one text a week because they feel like they don't have friends.
Yeah.
You just being there for them. That you could be that one person to help them.
Yep. I'm looking over at your notes on that yellow paper, and it reminded me of something that I really want to talk about in a podcast.
Good, okay.
And I didn't tell you about it, but I want to talk to you.
Okay, tell me.
I want to talk. You already know about it, but
oh,
so this week was a hard week for me. Just some personal crap going on, and really hard. I don't know why. I let it get to me.
It was a hard week.
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
and we go through times in life. I think we all do, where we're
Yeah.
just like, man, like, can I do this? Like, can I, you question it. You're like, can I do this?
So you can be the most positive person every day, all the time, but
Yeah.
you can have bad days and off days as
Oh,
long as you
yeah.
don't stay there.
Yeah. And I vast majority of my days in my life,
Yep.
I'm so fortunate, and I'm a very
Yeah,
happy person.
yeah.
But anyway, the other morning, I woke up in the morning, I go outside, and it's just a regular day. And it was after my bad day that she's well aware of. And for some reason, she worries about me sometimes, but, I woke up and I get in my truck, and there's a little yellow piece of paper like that on my truck seat, and it's just a little note. And I don't want to paraphrase horribly bad, but it's pretty much like, I love you and everything's gonna be okay. And like, I think we all, anybody that's in a relationship or not in a relationship, you don't have to be in a relationship to leave a note for somebody, but like little acts of kindness like that, even if it's for your significant other, like, why don't people do that more? We don't all the time. I could be better about it, but I try to once in a while just leave her a note, or like next, because she always gets coffee in the morning, leave it next to her coffee.
You do that, actually. You put notes there. Like, so I feel like leaving the notes idea is good when it's like
Only when I want something, though. I'm just kidding.
When I need to give you coffee.
Yeah.
I think it's in the middle. You don't want to do it all the time, because if you do it all the time, it's not special. But if you don't do it a lot, it's like, oh, I wish I got more notes. So it's like there's a happy medium.
If you do it like once every 10 years, it's gonna be extra special. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, I think I was at work, and I was talking to a good friend of mine at one point, and talking about it, been married a long time and stuff, and I was just listening, talking, like, man, like, I think everybody and anybody, even us, like, I think if I can consciously every day try to do like one thing where I'm like, because there's been, oh my God, especially lately, I hate social media, and I'm on my phone all the time. So very hypocritical here when I say this, but like, put your phone down and pay attention to that person that you're lucky enough to be next to, or laying in bed with, or whatever. Just like, put your phone down.
Yep.
You can consciously make that thought once a day to just put your phone down for 5 minutes.
I think that's something we talked about last night.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to try to, one night a week, at a certain bedtime, whatever, put our phones down and just leave them. Because constantly, throughout
won't happen
a while.
Just kidding.
It's like it buzzes. You check it, buzzes. You check it, and then you're scrolling. Then holy shit! I've been on my phone for 45 minutes.
Working
what?
As intended.
Yeah, but we can control that.
We can. Oh,
we can. What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, right now. But yeah, no, we all can control that. Okay. Put your phone away and leave it there. Put it on silent so you don't hear it buzzing at least for an hour. 9 o'clock, you want to go to bed, or 10 o'clock, you want to go to sleep, and you need your alarm on or whatever, put the sound back on and stuff. But, I think it's important to definitely not ignore the people that you love for stupid shit that we're scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah. And you can do little things, like there's things that take literally no effort. just to show that person that you love them. I don't know. I think it's so fucking important because there's so many people out there that they expect relationships just to be great with zero effort being put in. And I think it's so important to put effort into loving each other and being there for each other. But
yes, doing little things for each other takes a second.
Yeah.
Yep.
No. But you know, I wanted to start talking in general, just more about things that have worked for us.
Yes. Because I think that's like the whole point is like we've been through so much shit that we're in a good place right now.
Yeah,
and
we are.
People have asked, you know, like, what do you do? How do you get through this? How would you get through this? I'm going through this. Can you help me? And I think we need to elaborate more on how we're doing it or how we did it.
Yeah.
Or, you know?
And it sucks because it helps so much if people like really know, you know, the vulnerability is strength thing. If people open up and you really know what somebody's going through, like for me at least, like I'm listening to people like Eddie Pierno talk about, you know, on his podcast Your World Within that I always talk about. Like I'd listen to him talk about some of the adversity he went through, and he didn't go too much into detail about it, but like hearing this person talk about how broken they were at certain points or how much difficult they've had, man, it's cool because I'm like, man, this person is stellar. Like this person's, you know, running, you know, like 7 days a week and making content every day. And I was thinking about that today, actually. I was like, man, like every day, like I have a hard time like working out a good workout like 2-3 times a week. And I try to, but I'm like, I was thinking about, man, if I did that full time, if it was a full-time content creator
you get
like
a
him,
schedule down.
Oh man,
you know,
like imagine. So not only are you in pristine shape, potentially making really good money, but you're creating something, doing something you love. Like imagine that
dream, huh?
Like and it wouldn't be that hard. Like 7 days a week, or I would say 5 days a week, releasing content.
You also need a break of So I would say 5, not 7.
Oh no, it's exhausting. If I had somebody to just manage social media. I hate social media with passion.
It almost makes me like not feel good if I'm on it too much. Literally, my body's like no more. Yeah. You know, and I'm not even on it all the time. So I don't know. I don't know how people can be like kids can be on it 24/7. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I was talking to her sister last night, and we were talking about sleep and how. It's funny because I can't just lay down and fall right to sleep. Like I need a little while to spin down, wind down, and eventually fall asleep. And she can sleep instantaneously.
Yeah, start twitching. Yeah, He's like, I wake myself up.
Well, we were talking about how annoying it is, like especially if we're in an argument or like not that we ever argue.
No,
but we laid it like when we were in the midst of an argument and we. Sometimes they don't get solved before going to bed. That's another thing I really highly advise.
We tried it.
It's not always doable.
We've talked about that before.
There's nothing that pisses me off more than if I am heated and we are so pissed off at each other and we lay down, she falls right to sleep. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, how did you?
So it makes
you don't care.
He feels like I don't care, but I do. But my body is tired, and it's like, Monica, just go to sleep. You're fine. I know you're tired. And he's like, how the hell can you just fall asleep? Yeah. And it's not that I don't care. I'm
so I start
tired.
Tossing and turning really hard so she can't sleep. It wakes her up.
Yeah, right. But I know, like, I feel bad when I do that. But a lot of times it's very late because we've been like talking for like all night and bickering all night, and I'm just like, my body's like, nah, you need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, done. Yeah. So I don't know. That's I think when people have issues with their relationships like that, try not to maybe fall asleep before you get it like straightened out, because that could bother the other person. But I don't know, any issues that we have or stuff that we've been through. So a lot of people journal, which I used to journal all the time, and I should start doing that now. But you know, if you're going through hard times and you feel like you need to release, but you don't really want to give anyone any information and talk about anything, journaling is great. I think it's a good release. It's a positive release. And it's something, I mean, you probably wouldn't journal.
You know, I wrote, like when I was listening to, is right before I started the podcast, I did some like writing in, I did put a YouTube video out. I just wrote something and read it, I believe.
Yeah, you did. And, I remember. Yep.
But it's kind of a cool feeling. And I was like, man, like I can actually kind of impress myself with some of the stuff I was writing.
Yes.
It's not perfect. I'm not by any means somebody that could do that. Like,
yeah, but
especially,
it's
like, I
you,
do.
and it's like your thoughts and your words that you want to use. So therefore, whatever your feelings are, you just put it on paper. So it's like
Yeah.
pretty much perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anyone can do that. But I'm trying to think, like,
What about just I'm
Yep.
just gonna flow with random thoughts for a
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Being away from each other. Like, for example, when I'm done with the reserves. I was in the Army Reserves for 8
Yes.
years, but there's, a lot of times it's gone for a month at a time and stuff like that. And
Yep.
I wanted to talk about how we handled that because and I think we're weird though, because we're kind of shoved up each other's asses. Like
yeah.
we're always together. Like she's my best friend. Like we
Mhm.
are each other's everything.
We don't want to do much without the other person.
Yeah.
And some people might be like, I like to do this without my husband or without my wife, and that's cool.
A lot of my buddies would bust my balls.
Yeah, but that's not how we are, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we generally, like, we very rarely, like, go out without each other, and, like, we've always had this unspoken rule, and I don't think we talked about this, but, like, we might have on one of our other episodes.
Mhm.
Anyway, like, we've always had this, like, unspoken rule where we just, if we're going out to bars and stuff like that, like, the best way to not fuck up, in my opinion, is to not put yourself in a situation where you're able to fuck up. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're going out and you're getting hammered, like, I don't know about you, but, like, I have done some questionable things in my 36 years of living when I was under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah.
Easier than I would have if I was sober. Now, generally, when we ever go out without each other, if we're doing something, whether, like, when I was gone for military training, went out with my guy friends, like, I would have a couple beers, but I would not get hammered just because
Yeah, but also the communication, when you would go out, you would call me and you would text me, or you would
throughout the
FaceTime
night,
me throughout the night.
just to let
so
you know,
I would feel
like, hey, like,
comfortable.
Yeah.
And I didn't really worry about anything. Of course, there's a little bit of like, oh, he's out at the bar, without me and with all of his guy friends and stuff. What are they doing? But I didn't really ever worry, but you made me feel very good just talking to me and texting me and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just to make sure that you're okay too, because I don't know what's going on out there. People get crazy, people get psycho. So yeah. I think that's another thing though. If you're in a relationship and one person goes out all the time without you and they don't respect you, to be like, okay, I won't go. Going out isn't like that exciting. Going out drinking all the time, if you're going to leave your significant other home, like, wouldn't you want to be with them? That's like weird to me.
I mean, to each their own, I guess. It depends on the person, but
yeah, some people like to go out and party and stuff. Some people are homebodies, which is cool. But I feel like
I couldn't believe how much, like, I had a buddy that was, like, pretty successful, went out on a regular basis, and then I'm like, man, this guy makes good money and he's got nothing to show for it, like nothing.
Yeah.
But then you see the same person, see him always out at the bars or online at the bars, at clubs and stuff. Like, man, like, this person parties 100% of his extra money away.
You could see it two different ways though. Like,
maybe he's having a good time though, and he's loving life. But
he could be loving life, having a great time, partying, dancing, and all that stuff with his friends, making good memories. Is he really blowing his money doing that? That's his thing.
Yeah.
As long as it's not ruining him or his life, or if he had a family, has a family, whatever, it's like his thing. But I don't know. I think if there's a couple that someone goes out all the time, maybe, and there's issues about it and you guys fight all the time about it, try to compromise. It's not that hard. Maybe go out a little bit less. Maybe your significant other could go out with you a little bit more and communicate so they feel comfortable. Yeah, that's huge.
Talking about a couple other things that have worked for us to make it through hard times and those moments. I don't know how many times I've said or thought, man, like, like I said earlier, like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm just at wit's end. Like, making it through those times, not always easy, but I think the number one thing that's assisted me in making it through that, other than her, would be talking to people and being, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, talking to people that
like, when you say, I don't know if I can get through this, he doesn't mean our relationship, because that's what it sounded like, but that's not what you meant. You meant like your hard times.
Yeah. No. And
I mean, support.
Yeah, I think maybe lose train of thought.
I'm sorry. You're just talking about I don't know if I can get through this, but
Yeah, just making it through those hard times. One of the most beneficial things is allowing yourself to be vulnerable, talking to other people, because it's not hard. I heard somebody recently say they got a really good bullshit detector. And the reason why their bullshit detector is so incredibly good was because they've been through a real life. And when I say real life, I'm not talking like, I'm talking hardship, but I'm talking like a real life that, like real extreme adversity. When like stuff that I don't wish upon anybody.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so it's like that person was saying that they could detect bullshit from people, and they didn't mean like that person's full of bullshit. They mean like they've been through shit, and they could tell because they went through shit.
This past year, my bullshit radar or my bullshit detector, excuse me, like, my I should say my broken detector. And what I mean by that is like I would just see people and I would talk to people, I'd interact with people, and I'm like, I can tell this person has
gone through shit,
a hard time, and not like regular bad day shit, just like this person
right.
And, I've even seen people posting on social media things that just good decent people that are going through hard times, and I have reached out to people. I've reached out to a lot of people.
Yes.
Like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And a lot of those times, those people are like, I'm getting by, and like.
But it's like they don't expect it though. So when you reach out, they're like, holy, like someone actually cares.
Well, yeah. And then before I started my social media, whatever, a lot of people were like, I think we're mind blown. Like, wait, you're going through shit? Like, things look pretty good on social media, dude. Like, you're out on a boat and just fucking enjoying life. And like, and I got I'm super fortunate. I got an incredibly good life. But
everyone goes through shit.
Yeah.
And it's like some, different chunks of time in different people's lives. It's like the hardest part in their life might be in their teenage years, or it might be in their adult years, or their older years. It's not all the same.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot lately, I want to do like a, like my testimony of what I went through, minus details that involve other people. So trying to keep it personal, so I'm not oversharing to the extent it's
right. We don't want to talk negative or bash anybody.
Not even that, but like don't want to involve kids or family or anything like that. I would love to be like, hey, this is where I started. This is where I, ended up, and this is how I got there.
This is how I got there. People need to know your story, but they need to know how you got there. What did you do? And
again, you're right. I think it would benefit people. My story, if I heard it 2 years ago, because most of my story happened last year.
Yeah.
But my story would have helped me. It would have inspired me, and it would have helped me through what I went through for sure.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, her story is better than, not better. Her story is worse, more powerful than just about anybody's. But someday I would love to be able to get there to the extent she could share it.
Yeah. Someday. Definitely want to someday, but we'll get there. Yeah.
But holy shit, we're at 50 minutes. We were contemplating not recording this tonight, and then I got all pouty and moody because I'm like, we've been talking about it for like 3 days, and we keep putting it off. And we came home, and she said she was tired, so I was all annoyed with her.
I'm tired all the time, but listen, we went to bed late, then we got up early, then we had to drive far. Then we come home.
Hold up. We went to bed really late, like really 2-3 o'clock in the morning, for good reasons. But for good reason. I had a person reach out to me that I was hoping to hear from. Yeah. But so we woke up and we still got our asses to church. We were there by 9:30.
Yep.
And guess what? We came home, and what did we do? And I felt tired. I felt tired and shitty. I wanted to go lay down, but we had to take her daughter to college. But I'm like, hey, I look outside. It was 16 degrees. Beautiful though. It was really sunny. Like,
well, I'm downstairs and you're like, hey babe. And I was like, what? You're like, you want to go running? I'm like, now?
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't have to.
Well, but I'm just like,
and I'm glad we did.
If you can do it when you don't want to, I'm telling you.
It was cold as shit outside. I feel like I couldn't feel my face. Like it was full of Botox coming under. Like couldn't move because it was so cold. But I felt so good after.
Doing things that are difficult in worse conditions make it easier every other time you're going to do it.
Yep.
And like my feet were soaking wet. I don't know how my feet got wet.
My feet were dry.
My toes are fucking freezing.
That's weird.
It was so cold. And we were right next to a lake, so we run right next to this lake. generally when we go. And
yeah, but I think about every time we go running like that, and when we're like, oh, like how much more days or weeks does it possibly add to our life and our health? You know what I mean? So I got to think of the long.
So this is relevant to this. So everybody knows that Samus has been a sick dog. She's still on antibiotics.
Like,
but so we take Arrow running, which both the dogs, I'm surprised neither of them perked their ears.
Said the R word.
Yeah. We took Arrow with us, and we're leaving the driveway. I turn around and look back, and Samus is sitting in her perch in front of the window watching us run away. It was
so bad.
She was probably so bummed out. Like, why are they going without me? With their new favorite dog.
Yeah, when she's all like happy, all like frolicking down the road.
Yeah.
Aww.
But it was pretty cute.
Samus.
But anyway, I appreciate everybody tuning into us. And I'm gonna ask this again. I'm gonna keep asking this. Like, please like, subscribe, and if you haven't, check out our private Facebook group. It's kind of cool. I think there's like 580 members or something like that, and people actually are pretty active in there. Like
they are. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And you can share stuff or post stuff, comment on stuff. I think I just love
just no bashing other people. It's all I ask. Like people have teetered the line and said some negative stuff, and I'm just like, just try to just be respectful.
Yep. No need negative shit on there.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this, is to be positive and help people. Yeah. And but definitely, if you have any ideas of stuff that you want us to talk about or get more in depth about or anything, just let us know, and we'll try to get on that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we do appreciate your guys' support, and for the people that have reached out to us and shared some more of their stories, or they just wanted to talk and stuff, like, please keep doing that. Like I try to talk to everybody, and once in a while about, holy shit, I miss these messages. I feel like I'm horrible about that, but I really appreciate the people that have reached out to talk to us, and just we really do have some pretty potential incredible guests lined up for this, for our future episodes. And I use the word life-changing. That potentially could be an understatement. I'm
really, really just excited for those people to be on, because that will I can't even talk. That podcast or that episode, the episode will be life-changing for people. And I don't think just therapeutic for people that are listening, for the person talking, telling their story, and for us. For real.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be pretty emotional and awesome all at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, I appreciate it again, guys. Don't want to drag this out too much longer.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Bye-bye.